At today's press conference, the president was asked to respond to recent criticism by two Republicans, former Vice President Richard Nixon and Senator Kenneth Keating of New York, that the administration was not standing as firmly as it should against communist Cuba. Mr. Nixon, in a speech last weekend before the American Society of Newspaper Editors in Washington, said the administration had quote-unquote goofed the Bay of Pigs invasion of Cuba in April 1961 and had given the Soviets, quote, squatters' rights in our backyard, unquote.
I know there's a good deal of concern in the United States because Castro is still there. I think it's unfortunate that he was permitted to assume control in the 1950s and perhaps would have been easier to take action then than it is now. But those who are in positions of responsibility did not make that judgment. Now, as to what the present situation, we are working with the OAS to set up an organization which will limit the movement of potential guerrillas in and out of Cuba. I think the members of the OAS have made it very clear that Marxist-Leninism and the Soviet presence is not a matter which is acceptable to the people of the hemisphere. We've been working through the Alliance for Progress to prevent a repetition of the Cuba incident. We have made it very clear we would not accept a Hungary in Cuba. We've made it very clear that we would not permit the movement of troops from Cuba to another country for offensive purposes. We maintain their surveillance. We do a good many things. Now, we're coming down to the question, which is rather sidestepped. That is, the United States should go to war in order to remove Castro. That nettle is not grasped. It would seem to me that we have pretty much done all those things that can be done to demonstrate our hostility to the concept of a Soviet satellite in the Caribbean, except take these other steps which bring in their wake violence and may bring a good deal of worldwide difficulty. If they're advocating that, then I recognize that as an alternate policy. But if it's merely a policy which says we should do something without defining it, except perhaps, as I've said, unleashing the exiles, which cannot do the job, it seems to me we deserve, on a question of this importance, a good deal more precision in our prescriptions for its solution.